Yeah.
Record. So, welcome everyone. Just a little housekeeping. If you have questions, drop them in the comments. I'm going to take notes while Jen talks. And as I said, Jen has been traveling all day. So, let's give her some love. And I'm so excited for tonight. Thanks, Jen.
Okay, welcome everyone. I'm super excited for us to get started today. I know that this chronic pain and inflammation is rampant in our world. And so we're going to get a little bit, of course, I could talk about pain and inflammation all day long. We're going to keep it short and sweet and just kind of give you a bit of overview, some little nuggets that you can implement and start researching and looking some stuff up on your own to see what you can do and the information that you can share forward. However, we don't want to not give you the information. So that's why we decided to create this for you so that you can get those nuggets and just start growing and learning as you go, because that's how it works. So I've been on a journey of health for many, many years. And that started with, I just want to not discount the fact that you guys have the ability to research yourselves. And so I always say, take everything that anyone tells you with a grain of salt, do your own research, because no matter what degree a person has, they only know what they know. And it's really important that you take information and use your own critical thinking and apply it to your own self, your own body, because no one knows you better than you. I just want to put that out there because I think it's really important that we state that nobody knows everything, and I don't know everything about each and every one of your situations, but I do welcome the conversation. If you do want to reach out later and have one-on-one conversation, I'm always open for that. So we're going to get started here talking all about pain and inflammation. I'm just going to share my screen here. I've got a little slide for you guys to follow along with, because I think it's more fun than just sitting and listening, giving you guys something to look at and read along with me. Okay, so we are talking about pain and inflammation, but more importantly, what we're talking about is what causes it, how do we get here, and where do we go from here? How do we move from it and get to a better place? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So first though, in the chat or hands up if you want, do you or someone you know suffer from any of these conditions that come along with pain and inflammation? So Alzheimer's, MS, arthritis, type 2 diabetes, fibromyalgia. Remember, this is you or anybody in your world. If you know, type yes into the chat, or you can even type what kind of inflammatory conditions that someone you know has. Fibromyalgia, fatty liver disease, gout, asthma, cancer, lupus, autoimmune conditions in general are going to be creating inflammation in our bodies. So we want to be I'm just going to take a look in the chat here. So degenerative disc disease, that comes with inflammation. Psoriasis, IBS, yes. More fibromyalgia, MS. Yeah, this is chronic conditions, arthritis and ulcerative colitis. Yes, so many inflammatory conditions. I could not fit them all on this page. So what do we do about it? What causes it, and where do we go? So first of all, inflammation is it refers to a biological response to stimuli interpreted by the body to have a potentially harmful effect. Inflammation is normal. It is a normal, healthy response to injury, infections, or other certain medical conditions. For example, consider how the area gets red and warm around a splinter. That's the body immune system attacking the foreign body, making sure to keep us healthy. So there are inflammatory processes that happen in our body that are not necessarily bad. That's not really what we're talking about today. We're not talking about how the body uses inflammation to promote healing in the body. What we're talking about is the inflammatory disorders. So this is where the immune system causes inflammation and mistakenly attacks your body's own cells and tissues. There's a number of ways that our immune system can go wrong and cause inflammation. So what happens? So this is a process of autoimmunity where our antibodies get directed against our own cells And like, just think about patients with rheumatoid arthritis or lupus. An example of a different way our immune system can attack our own tissues is when we have an autoinflammatory disease. In that case, cells produce inflammatory chemicals without the involvement of antibodies. So gout, for example, is felt to be an autoinflammatory disease. You can't see it or feel it, but inflammation can slowly be damaging your body. So inflammation is part of the body's natural healing system. It does help fight injury and infection, but it doesn't just happen in response to injury and illness. An inflammatory response can also occur when an immune system goes into action without an injury or infection to fight. Since there's nothing to heal, the immune system cells that normally protect us begin to destroy healthy arteries, organs, and joints. We see how this can be a problem, right? And so what is that caused by? So some of the things that causes this process in our body is when we don't eat healthy, or when we don't get enough exercise, or maybe we have too much chronic stress happening in our body. And this all can trigger inflammation in the body. So chronic inflammation can have damaging consequences over long term. So what we're talking about is this low-grade inflammation that over time causes these disruptions in the processes of our bodies. So the food we eat, the quality of sleep we get, how much exercise we get, it really, really matters in reducing inflammation. Early symptoms of chronic inflammation can be vague. Sometimes it's just subtle signs like being feeling fatigued. And so if you're just feeling fatigued, you may not realize that it's actually like this low grade inflammation that's continuing on your body, in this process. And so you may get used to that feeling and not even realize it's happening, but then 10 years goes by and now all of a sudden you start getting diagnosed with things. So autoimmunity doesn't like all of a sudden happen overnight. This is a gradual process, and much of that time it goes undetected, and therefore we don't do anything about it. And then because we don't do anything about it until it causes us like hands up if we don't ever do anything about it, unless it causes interruption in our life, like big interruption in our life. We don't do anything about it. We ignore it. We take a Tylenol. We do whatever we do to kind of suppress it, because that's just kind of what we're taught to do. So don't feel bad. It's what we're taught to do. It's culturally what we do. So the inflammation processes, what they do though, is they begin to damage arteries, organs, joints. It contributes to chronic diseases such as heart disease, blood vessel disease, diabetes, obesity, cancer, Alzheimer's, all the things that we've already mentioned. So we want to stop the systemic inflammatory responses that are happening with these, these chronic conditions. So what do we do about that? But first, I forgot I was going to tell you guys this first. How do you measure the chronic inflammation in your body? So there is a blood test that you can get done. It's something actually in the nutrition program that I coach on called Metabolic Balance. We actually do test this. But you can also talk to a doctor about getting this tested. So there is a blood test that measures the protein produced by the liver, the C-reactive protein it's called. It rises in response to inflammation in the body. So a CRP level between 1 and 3 milligrams per liter of blood often will signal a low yet chronic level of inflammation. Physicians can also test for, they test a measurement of blood sugar to assess the damage to the red blood cells. So there are things we can test to check the inflammation. And then it's like, what do we do about it, right? Because often we may be told if we don't make changes, we're going to have to be on medication, or maybe it's already gone so far as now we're being offered medication. But what can we do to prevent us from needing medication? Or what can we do to possibly reset the body to potentially one day not need certain medications? Okay, so what can we do about that? There is a handful of things we can do. So we can start by doing just easy steps, okay? So we can load up on anti-inflammatory foods. So your food choices are just as important as the medications and supplements that you might be taking for overall health, since they can protect you against inflammation. So making good choices in our diet includes fresh vegetables, fruits, as well as reducing refined sugar intake. We know that sugar causes inflammation. Who, hands up, I want to know. Type sugar in the chat if you know that sugar causes inflammation in your body. I think we all know it, but like just type in the chat, because I want to know if I'm just like making this up or is this new? Like, I feel like we all know this information, but how do we get away from it? Right? Because it's everywhere in everything. And I want to remind you that sugar literally changes the chemicals in your body. So when you feel like out of control when it comes to sugar, know that that's because it's actually chemically affecting your body. It's not because you're weak. It's not because you're not good enough to like go without it. It literally controls your body in like the craziest ways. And so, yeah, so this is like a huge thing to reduce the inflammation, is cutting back on sugar. So that leads us into number 2, which is cutting back or eliminating inflammatory foods. So sugar being the number 1 inflammatory food, but also I'm just reading because I skipped some of my notes, but also anything with trans fats, such as like margarine, corn oils, seed oils. I think we know deep fried foods is on that list. Most processed foods, often sauces, dressings, stuff like that, often have hidden things like the seed oils, the canola oils, the things that are going to cause inflammation in the body. You have to read ingredients, right? Like look for oils added in spices. If there's oils added in spices, they don't need to be there. Anybody curious, like hands up, because I like to add just like little added facts. Who wants to know why they add oils to seasonings? Does anybody? Yeah, you want to know why they add? Well, one is flavor, right? Because we know fats add flavor. But the other reason is because it makes the product heavier, which spices are sold by weight. Increased profit margin. So cheap ingredient, increased profit margin. So we got to watch out for that sort of thing happening, because it happens all the time in the food industry. I've got this thing right in the way. Hold on. I just got to like, oh man, my screen's doing something funny. So that is one of the reasons why they will add those oils to spices and stuff like that. So watch out for those. But it's really those trans fatty oils. Like we got to watch out for that. Anything processed, anything with chemicals in it is typically going to cause inflammation in the body. Okay. If you already have inflammatory conditions, you can look up like anti-inflammatory foods online. There's information everywhere on anti-inflammatory foods, but watching out for nightshades. So maybe some of you have heard nightshades before. If you already have, like, nightshades do not cause inflammation. I just want to like state that nightshades do not cause inflammation, but if you are already in an inflammatory state, it can cause problems. It can like increase the inflammation in your body. So when I say nightshades, I'm talking about peppers, tomatoes, stuff like that. So you can look up the whole list online, but peppers and tomatoes are not going to cause inflammation if you don't already have an inflammatory condition. Okay. So one of the ways to get processing those things properly would be to decrease the inflammation in your body, and also make sure you're checking in with your gut health. We're going to talk about gut health in just a minute here, but let's move on to number 3, blood sugar control. So again, limiting the sugar. but avoiding simple carbohydrates like white flour, white rice, refined sugars, like any foods with sugar in it is like added sugar. I am not talking about fruit, guys. I'm not talking about fruit. I'm not talking about vegetables. Do not cut whole foods out that have sugar in them. That is not the same thing. We're talking about added sugar in processed foods. Anything with high fructose corn syrup, stay away from it. It's going to spike your blood sugars and cause inflammation in your body. So anytime you have elevated insulin levels, you're going to, so when you get your blood sugar spike from having that sugar, it's going to cause an elevation of inflammatory conditions in your body, because when insulin is high, it is going to kind of trigger those inflammatory responses. And when your blood sugars are elevated over time, over time consistently, we're going to increase those inflammatory conditions in the body. So we can do like micro fasting, focusing on having 3 meals a day, always eating your protein and your like high fiber and high protein when you are eating complex carbohydrates. And when you are going to eat your meal, start with your protein. Take a couple bites of your protein first. That's going to slow the spike of blood sugars. Okay, so that's going to keep your insulin levels lower, which is going to reduce the inflammatory responses in your body. Making time for exercise. So regular exercise. So really good kind of rule of thumb would be like 30 to 45 minutes of aerobic exercise, and then 10 to 25 minutes of weights or resistance training at least 4 to 5 times per week. If you are not exercising at all, do not jump to 4 to 5 times a week. Start with 1, because I don't want you guys to feel like you're failing or like I just can't fit it in because it's not in your routine. Take the time to just like get started, right? So start where you're at. Anytime you are learning more about nutrition and ideas of things that you can be doing, start where you're at. Implement small things at a time. So maybe this week you're just going to focus on whole foods in eliminating the sugars. Then next week, let's get out and exercise 1 or 2 times. So whenever you're making changes in your lifestyle habits, who's heard of habit stacking? Have you ever heard of habit stacking? So habit stacking means you're building one habit on top of another habit on top of another habit to change things for the long term. And so if you try to change every single aspect of your life in one day, what's going to happen? You're going to do it for 3 days and then crash, right? Because it's too much change at once. So write down a list of what habits you want to implement, and then start with one. Start with one. Put it in the chat. What habit would be something you would like to implement? So what one would you pick first? Now, losing weight, that's a little more complicated. If you are already eating healthy, you are exercising, and you are struggling with weight, I recommend you come talk to me one-on-one, or perhaps if you've got like someone else that can help you with nutrition and help guide you in ways that are more specific to yourself, talk to them, because losing weight is not that simple. Sometimes there's a little bit more science that goes behind it. So I want you to take that one with a grain of salt, because you might be already trying and what you're doing is not working. It just means you need to find what's going to work specifically for your body. Managing stress. So we talked a lot about stress in our gut health talk last week. So we do have a whole nother call that is specific to gut health. So if you missed that one and you want to check that one out, I'm just going to touch on it because I really dove deep into the managing stress last week. But chronic stress definitely can contribute to inflammation in the body. So using things like meditation, yoga, guided imagery, or other methods to manage your stress throughout the day are really, really important to keep your inflammatory levels at bay. Okay, so what else can you do? Because there's always more. There's always more. So yes, Jen says more water. little to no refined sugars. That's the goal. More water, more water, more water. Guys, yes, water is so important because we want to flush stuff out, right? We can't have our proper detoxification systems working without water. We need water. So thank you for mentioning water in there as well. Okay. So what else can we do? There's more we can do. So we talked a little bit about like supplementation alongside of any sort of medications that maybe you're working with your doctor on. And so what kind of supplements can you take? We've got a few in mind here for you that would be very, very helpful. And you're going to get to hear from a couple of our friends here today to talk about it. So I'm going to talk about two specifically first, and then we're going to hear some shares. We've invited a couple of friends who have had tremendous, amazing results in a very short time. So with the company that we are talking about tonight is Trinont, and Trinont is a health and wellness company that has formulations. Guys, I've been in this for over a decade and I've never seen formulations like this, and I've never seen results like this. Normally in the health and wellness industry, we have to tell people to take things for 60 to 90 days before they expect anything, not just big results, but any results. With these products, the formulations are so smart that and absorbable that we are seeing results within days. It's insane. So I just want to know, have you tried a health product before and seen no results or just very little results over a long period of time? Because I know I have. I've been prescribing them for years and have been frustrated that my clients don't get fast results. So I'm telling you, we get some fast results. You're going to hear about it. So what is Optimize? Optimize is a product that actually pairs curcuminoids. So curcuminoids are the components in things like turmeric that causes an anti-inflammatory response in the body. Okay. So first of all, anti-inflammatory. That's what we want, right? So it's going to reduce inflammation in the body. And it is combined with powerful proteolytic enzyme formula that significantly will help reduce pain, decrease inflammation and swelling, speed up recovery, and protect against future injuries or setbacks. So these proteolytic enzymes actually break down the proteins in our, like the rogue proteins, because one of the things that happens is if we're not breaking down proteins properly, causes inflammation in the body. So what do we need? We need something to help us break down the proteins, because proteins are one of the hardest molecules to break apart. They're often structural proteins. And so with those structural proteins, they're hard to break apart, especially if we are deficient in the enzymes in our body. Does anybody on here like also struggle with any digestive issues? Because digestive issues often come hand in hand with any like chronic inflammatory conditions. I'm just taking a moment to see. Yeah. So there is some of you kind of sharing that like there's digestive issues, right? Well, often what's happening is when you have digestive issues or you're having problems, it's not because you're all of a sudden allergic to something or your body's breaking down. What's happening is your body's just not producing the enzymes required to break down the food. And then those food molecules don't get broken down into absorbable molecules. And if they can't be absorbed by the body, what do? They float around and cause inflammation. So this helps break down those proteins to make sure we're not increasing the acidity in our body. We're not increasing the inflammation in our body. So this helps break down, and it also helps with the absorption of the nutrients from food. And this leads to the improved regulation of metabolic function, which is going to keep our insulin levels and such down. It's also going to increase stamina and energy levels. Who wants more energy? Like if you don't put your hand up, you're already dead, because we all want more energy, right? I think we all want more energy. We could all use more energy. So this is packed with antioxidants and proteolytic enzymes. It helps. This is a really cool little bonus. Okay. It's going to help us with those anti-inflammatory responses, but it also helps to create a healthy immune system. Who would like a really, really strong, healthy immune system so you don't get knocked down all the time, right? So we want a healthy immune system. This is going to help by degrading the pathogens that we come across, and those pathogens often inhibit the normal immune function in our body, and that can cause it can contribute to the oxidative stress in our body. So just a little note, because perhaps maybe you don't suffer from pain and inflammation, but maybe you're a person who is looking to perform better. Optimize is one of those things that can help you perform better as well, because it can help optimize oxygen flow in recovery. So what it's doing is actually allowing the body, the nutrients to flow right to the cell. So when it's breaking down the proteins, sometimes the proteins in your body that are stuck or might be scar tissue or damaged cells, and it'll break that apart so that your body can actually access the nutrients. So it'll clean that up for you. So this has been really helpful for a lot of people, whether it's an injury or a chronic condition. Is help speed the processes of the body of getting those nutrients in there so that we can start feeling better faster. Of course, we have to mention that we do not claim to heal, treat, or cure anything. However, we know that when we give our body what our body needs, we feel better. So nobody cares about a diagnosis if you're feeling amazing, right? The key is that we want everyone feeling amazing. So the second product I wanted to talk about is Glow. It is a liquid collagen. So you guys have probably seen tons of collagen on the market, right? First of all, why is collagen supplementation so important? Collagen supplementation is important because our body slows down the production of collagen after the age of 20, and often by the age of 40. Who's over 40? Just a check of hands here, because I think like probably almost all of us are over 40 or approaching 40, if not already 40. And so what happens is by the time we're 40, some of us are barely producing any collagen at all. And collagen is the structural protein in our body everywhere. Over 90% of the structural proteins in our body is type 1 collagen. I know there's other types of collagen on the market, but over 90% is type 1 collagen. What kind of collagen would you like to be supplementing with if over 90% of your collagen is type 1 collagen? Let me guess. Type 1 collagen, right? Type 1 collagen is the important collagen to be supplementing with, because that's what we need. So if we're not able to produce it and we're not eating it, because trust me, you're not consuming it, because hands up if you eat like cowhide, cow organs, or fish scales every day. I didn't think so. I didn't think so. Nobody. So we're not eating those things every day. So we'd rather supplement with it. And one of the things to note, because I know there's a lot of collagens on the market, is powdered versus liquid. I often get the question of powdered versus liquid. I've tried this powdered one, la, 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 la. Difference between powdered and liquid is you are never going to get the same absorption level with the liquid. So you will have, with the highest quality, best ingredients, collagen on the market that is powdered, you will get a maximum absorption of 30%. So we want to lean towards the liquid. So we want to lean towards the liquid and get that higher absorption rate. But what makes this one different? Because we get that question all the time. So I love comparing them. So if you've got one I haven't compared yet, please send it my way, because it just affirms that I'm using the right one. So this one here has 11 grams of type 1 grass-fed non-GMO bovine collagen peptides. What does that mean? That means that the collagen, okay, because remember, it's a structural protein. Structural proteins are really hard for our bodies to break down into that absorbable form. What we've done is we have we've hydrolyzed this collagen with fruit enzymes to break it into the smallest of peptides, so that our body can literally start absorbing it as it's entering our body. It starts absorbing in the mouth all the way down. It is fast absorption. So a super high absorption rate. And so that's why we see the fast results. But not only that, it's going to give you 10 grams of protein. Often as we get older, we are also deficient in our proteins. So this is also going to help regulate our blood sugars by having this additional protein in our body, especially if we are taking it before bed. So 10 grams of protein with no added sugars. There's a clinical dosage of biotin and hyaluronic acid, which is going to make this product even higher, a higher impact on the body. Hyaluronic acid is like that lubrication for all your joints. So not only are you going to have better joint health and get that inflammation down, but you're going to actually be able to move them better. And then we also have a patented superfood antioxidant formula using things like Indian gooseberry, pomegranate, green tea extract. So things that are actually whole foods, not synthetics, to create this antioxidant effect that is going to help to reduce those free radicals. Free radicals cause inflammation in your body. So we don't want that. This is going to help right at that cellular level to reduce the negative influence of the toxic anti-aging molecules. So, okay, so I'm going to just stop screen sharing for a minute here. And I'm going to invite a couple of friends to share their experience with these products. Okay. We also have a couple other products, but we just wanted to touch on just the biggest impact ones here. I am just seeing.
I got one more.
Oh. Got someone on there. Oh, we've got 2 screens of people. How exciting is that? I'm super excited about that. Okay, Beth, I see you there. Why don't you give us a share first on your experience? Like, share a little bit about yourself and what chronic conditions that you may have been dealing with, and then just share with us what products you used and what impact they made and what was the timeline. I love to hear the timeline.
Okay, I would love to share. So my name is Beth. I live in North Saanich, and I have had fibromyalgia since I was probably in my 20s. I was diagnosed in my early 30s after several years of trying to figure that one out. I have since developed, I've got psoriasis, I've got osteoarthritis, and by last summer, I had hit a point where I was seriously in a really low point in my life. I was exhausted constantly. My knees were so sore from the not just the osteoarthritis, but also the interaction of the fibro and the osteo, that I couldn't walk from one end of my house to the other without using a cane because I was in so much pain. And, you know, a good example of my situation, one day I thought it was a really nice day. I wanted to go out and I wanted to do some gardening. And I thought, well, I've got to get the recycling down. So I took the recycling down to the end of the driveway. I had to make a couple of trips because there was a lot of recycling. And after doing that, I was so tired and in so much pain, I had to go back inside and sit down because I couldn't function. And I remember just thinking at that point, I'm only 57 years old. And how am I going to continue to function and move forward like this when I can't even put my recycling out and still do something else? And, you know, that's when you really realize how much it's affecting your quality of life. It wasn't just my knees. I also was wearing these kind of braces on both of my thumb joints. And anyone who knows me knows I'm a compulsive knitter. And I had gotten to the point where I couldn't knit more than 2 or 3 rows without having to stop because I was getting so much pain in this joint here. And that, again, is something that, you know, if I can't knit and do handcrafts and stuff like that, then like, just, you know, send me off to the pasture now because I don't want to be around. I couldn't stay outside with my grandkids. I couldn't take the dog for a walk. I couldn't do all kinds of things. And it really was getting to be problematic. And that, not that long ago after the incident with the recycling, my friend Benny, who was also on this call, you talked to her right at the beginning, called me and said, I have a product that I think might help me. And because she had seen me kind of getting more and more and more tired and more pain and everything over the last couple of years. And I'm like, well, you know what? Nothing else so far has worked that well, so I may as well try it. So I said, okay, fine, let's, I'll jump in and I'll try it. What do you recommend? And I cannot believe the difference it made. I was shocked. I did not expect that kind of difference, and I certainly didn't expect it that quickly. So first of all, I started using Optimize, which is one of the ones that Jen just talked about, and Glow, and also Enrich, which is the one for your gut health. And within about 4 days, I got up on about the fourth morning and thought, I'm not as stiff getting up in the morning. That's kind of odd. And then about 4 or 5 days later, my daughter said to me, we were out doing something and she saw me walking towards her and she's like, Mom, you're walking like a normal person again. You're not walking that stiff-legged because, when you've got arthritis in your knees, you kind of swing from your hips because you don't want to bend your knees. And she says, you're not walking like you used to. And that's really saying something when she could notice how much better I was walking. And I wasn't walking with the same level of pain. Now, here's the thing. I don't use my cane most of the time anymore. I still have osteoarthritis. I'm still bone on both knees, certainly on my left knee. And I'm actually scheduled to get my knee replacement in April, which I am really looking forward to because I still am going to have problems with it, but it's not anywhere near as bad as it used to be. I'd say my pain has kind of gone from here down to here, and I can function again. I feel like I got my life back. I've got more energy. I can think clearly, because that's one of the other things that happens is you just get to the point where you can't think clearly. I was having issues with my stomach every, 1 to 2 weeks. I would be having an IBS issue where you didn't want to be away from the bathroom for too long. And I realized, and I was so blown away by the symptoms going away, or the issues with my pain and everything going away, that I didn't realize until about 4 months later that I hadn't had a single IBS attack in 4 months. And then I was like, oh my God, because I really didn't expect that. So that's kind of the timeline I worked in, but I have been completely blown away and amazed by how well all of these products have worked to help me out. So, and it's huge. It's really, really impacted my life from that.
Well, I cannot hear like your story. I could hear it over and over and over again because it just makes me smile to see how much better you're feeling and how much the quality of your life has improved.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah.
Because that's it, right? Like, that's it. If you do not have the quality of life, like life is hard. It's hard. And so, Benny, I know we had our friend Tina was going to share tonight and she wasn't able to make it on. Benny, would you be able to share Tina's story?
Yeah, absolutely. So Tina's son is sick tonight, so she is with him. But at the end, we actually have some photos, so I'll share her photos as well. But I will just share with you. And Tina called me before Christmas and was asking me about the collagen, and I shared with her actually Beth's story, and she started taking the collagen. So a little backstory, Tina had a fall in 2018. And by 2019, it was not healing and she was suggested surgery. Now the pandemic happened and everything was, backdated. And so she was told she had about 3 to 4 years. So she was using a custom brace and a cane. She calls it Sugar because it's really sparkly. And she was managing with those things. So she started the collagen. And she said most days she couldn't leave the house because her pain was so bad. So she started taking the Glow in December of this year. And 4 weeks, you guys, just 4 weeks after the Glow, she was able to put on jeans for the first time in over a year because she was no longer needing to wear her brace every day. So 4 weeks, no longer needing her brace. And her pain has significantly decreased and she's now able to move around a lot more and she was, dealing with some weight management issues. And as you know, if you can't move, it's hard to be able to exercise. So it's a bit of a vicious circle. So she is so excited about her mobility. I'm going to show you a picture at the end. And she was just over the moon. And this is what I love about when we get to share people's stories. So, when Beth came to me, I was like, I've had plantar fasciitis off and on for 7 years. And for me, 2 weeks of taking the Glow, and I have not had any symptoms of plantar fasciitis since. And we just came from Salt Lake City. And normally when I'm walking on cement for 4 days, I would come home and my feet would be wrecked, walking in airports, everything like that. And I was taking Optimize every night. And with the collagen, and I've had no plantar fasciitis. Also my hip pain, we were just talking about it today. I had hip pain that would flare up, and it was a constant pain as well. And once again, back from traveling. And normally, when you come back from a trip, you feel a little banged up, like your hips sore, all of your if you have injuries, they kind of get worse and aggravated when you're eating out and being a little rough on your body. So I was just telling Trent today, I just came back from this trip and I feel so good. So that is a little bit of Tina's story and just a little bit of mine on my hip and my plantar fasciitis.
Thank you, Benny, for sharing. We have one more friend who's going to share with us. So Amanda is going to share with us her story. And then we'll talk a little bit about how you can get your hands on some of these products that we've talked about.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jen. I have so many amazing things to say. The Trinod products have done amazing things. I was diagnosed in the summer of 2018 with multiple sclerosis. I was at the peak of my fitness. I had taken up the hobby of playing roller derby 3 days a week and loving it. Woke up the very next day after a 4-hour practice. And yes, I chose to do that 4-hour practice and loved every moment of it. Of course, I'd be sore, but the entire right side of my body was numb. And no one knew what was going on. I scared the doctors, scared myself. It took 7 months to be diagnosed. And for almost 5 years, every day I deal with chronic pain, primarily in the right side of my body. I try my best to live a very active life. I'm very, very determined, and a little bit stubborn, to do things myself and not accept help. I turn 40 next year. So this is a big deal. Like learning these things, not yet 40 was like, oh my goodness, what does the rest of my life look like? And Jen called me up, loving friend, and said, I have this special gift for you at Christmas. Take these things and let's see if they can help you. I think they can make a change. And I was going away and I was like, I don't know if I need to take these things with me. And she's like, no, take them. Go, they can travel with you. It's okay. Just do it. Just take them. And I was taking the Glow and the Enrich over Christmas on vacation, not following a diet at all, eating lots of inflammatory foods, as we do when we're on vacation. And I noticed changes almost immediately. I'd called Jen, I think it was a couple of days into my vacation, and I said, please tell me I can get more of this. And she's like, yes, you can. And I didn't realize until I got back from vacation, when I got my reminder phone call from the pharmacy, that I was due for gabapentin refill. A gabapentin is a neuroblocker. And when you're in a lot of chronic pain, it's a drug that's commonly prescribed, especially with MS patients. The pain isn't actual fall down, hurt yourself pain. It's a neurological signal that's not transferred properly. So gabapentin stops that neuroblock. It's a neuroblocker so that you don't feel pain when there's no pain. It's dangerous to be taking and highly addictive, because when you do fall down and hurt yourself, your pain threshold is very out of whack. And that reminder phone call from the pharmacy, I was like, gabapentin, I haven't been taking that for a while. And I went to my bottle and it still sits where my drugs sit, full. My gabapentin is full. And what's happened is the glow has replaced what I was lacking. It's fixed my body naturally so that I don't have to take this highly dependent drug that's telling my body that I'm not in pain, that could cause a lot of extra problems later if I should ever really seriously hurt myself. It's, I don't know, it's a blessing. I'm so grateful for my friendship with Jen and her bringing this to my attention, because I would have never known. We don't know what we don't know. And it's not until you say something or you speak up and ask somebody that you find that one little thing that changes so much. Now, I still have pain. Chronic pain doesn't just disappear, but the level of pain I have is nothing compared to what I used to experience. And often I go through the day feeling relatively normal. And it's incredible.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. I wasn't going to share too much about Enrich, but it looks like Enrich is a piece of the puzzle, guys. So I'll just share quickly what Enrich is. So Enrich is a digestive enzyme with stabilized prebiotics and probiotics in it. So it's a combo kind of 3-in-1 product. And what it does is it helps you process your food. So it helps you process your food. So again, it's breaking it down to that molecular structure that your body can actually utilize the micronutrients in it. But it also has the prebiotics and probiotics so that your body can not only break it down, but it can actually absorb it. But the side effect is that it also helps you eliminate toxins. So one of the reasons why our body gets inflamed is because we have too much toxins in our body. So how do we eliminate toxins? Well, we got to make sure our elimination channels are open. And often our elimination channels are not open. And this is Enrich is a product that helps with that elimination so that we can be making sure our body is detoxing effectively so that we don't have chemicals running rampant in our body, like toxic chemicals running in our body and causing problems and inflammatories. If our body shoves it, because what happens with some of our toxins that come in our body, our body kind of pushes it out to the extremities, which is why you'll get like foot pain, arm pain, hand pain, is because our body's trying to protect our core organs in our body. So it shoots us out to the extremities. So that's why often you'll feel it from your hips down or from your shoulders across, is because your body's trying to shoot all that inflammation and all the things that are causing inflammation outwards because your elimination channels are blocked. So Enrich is another product that will help open up those elimination channels so that your body is detoxing all of the things that we don't want to stay in our body. Benny, do you want to share with everyone how to get your hands on these products? Because we do have a couple of options for you. I will let Benny take it away with that.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jen. And Amanda, that was the first time I heard your story and I have goosebumps. Anybody else?
Me too.
Yeah, amazing. And as I said before, this is why we're here to share. So I'm going to share my screen for a minute. I have a few photos that go along with some of the stories we heard tonight. And then I'm going to share with you a couple of different ways that you can get access to some of these amazing products that we heard about tonight. So here we have, I just thought I would mention a few things. So we talked about the Glow Collagen. Here on the left is my friend Leslie. And after a month of taking the Glow, you can see that her veins have started to disappear. And she actually called me in tears and she could not find them. She had to look for the freckle on her leg. This is our really good friend, Nancy Murray. And she was actually one of my first phone calls when I started taking the Glow, because I had a surgery over 2.5 years ago. And 2 weeks after starting the Glow Collagen, my scars started to disappear. Nancy's one of my best friends, and she had a surgery date coming up. And I was like, Nance, you gotta get this collagen. If I knew about the collagen before I had my surgery, I would have been taking it. So she was taking the Optimize and the Glow, and her surgeon was blown away by her healing. So if you do know anybody who's going in for surgery, I know Beth has reached out to Nancy for some tips on that. And then as I was sharing before, you can see my scars in this photo. A side effect of the Glow also is your hair, your skin, your nails, all those things. I shared Tina's story, and I just wanted to share a photo of her. So this is her on the left. You can see her sparkly cane named Sugar there. And on the right, and the thing I want you guys to look at is the smile on her face. That's the first time she's wearing pants in a year because she's not having to wear that custom brace 4 weeks after being on the Glow. So this is Beth. She shared about her story. And I know we can't show you her walking around her kitchen, but you can even see it in her face. And that is what I noticed. I've known Beth a very long time. And the more she was in pain, the more I could just see it in her face. So she has just lit up. And then this is me on the right. We also have some testimony groups. So for example, if you're having surgery or knee pain or something like that, the person who invited you can invite you into one of these groups to just find out a little bit more about what is working for people. I find it very helpful. So there's 2 different ways you can get your hands off the products, on the products. So I just want to hear a raise of hands. When people were sharing tonight, Jen, we heard Tina's story, Beth and Amanda. Did you think of anybody else in your life? Yeah. So that's what happened to me. I immediately thought of Beth and Nancy. So there's 2 different ways you can get a hold of the products. You can order as a customer. And if you're interested in that, put discount in the comments, because whoever invited you can get a hold of you and give you a special discount. As well, we have an associate way to join, and that is what I recommend to everyone, because like we saw tonight, when you're feeling good, when you love the products, you're going to want to share that with other people. Then you can start to earn 25 to 30%, and you have your own website. So similar to if you have a favorite restaurant out there, if you have your favorite collagen, Optimize, Enrich, then you can share that with other people. We heard about a few of the products tonight. So whether you're a customer or an associate, you can also get another discount, which is subscription. So I have my collagen that comes to me every month. Trent has his Enrich, and then you get an extra 10% off. Hands up if you like to save money. Anybody else? So the subscription's great. You can turn it on and off at any time. And then I always like to let people know, if you're ordering a few of the products, 3 or more, you get an extra 4% off. So a total of 14, and then another 4%. So a total of 18 with 5 or more products. So if there was a few that you were interested in tonight. I'm going to go ahead and just show you a few of the associate bundles. The great thing is they come with a lot of the products we talked about tonight, and even some more that you can share with some of your friends as well. Oops, there's our Jeeps. So part of the associate perks as well is we have a Jeep program. Jen has her Jeep. Trent and I are both driving Jeeps, and it has only been 3 months. This is Leslie driving her Jeep. Anybody out there want a free car payment every month? Because that is possible with this business. So imagine being to share something you love, being able to earn a little extra residual income, and then also being able to drive a new car, which is pretty awesome. Okay, where did the bundles go? Here they are. All right, so we talked tonight about a few of the products, but as Jen mentioned, we have a bunch of different products. We have a platinum bundle, which is my favorite because it comes with a bit of everything. The silver wellness comes with a lot of the products we talked about tonight, but that platinum comes with the Optimize that Jen talked about, as well as all the other products. Anything you want to add to that, Jen?
I love to mention the fact that you also, well, hey, we have we're going to have a new trip that we're working towards right now coming up soon. It's going to be announced right away, but we're already earning points. And with that platinum package often comes like 2,000 points towards the next trip. If I had known that, I would have got the platinum package for that reason alone. And then the next reason is they give you 20 coupons to give to your first 20 customers. So that's super cool.
Which is awesome because then you can, give a discount to the people in your life that also want to try the collagen. And here is how it happened for me. I had a friend reach out to me and she basically just said, what do you have to lose? Just try it. And I thought, you're right. What do you have to lose? We also have a empty bottle guarantee. So if you try our products, there's a guarantee, which is awesome. So those are the few ways that you can get a hold of the product. So make sure you reach out to whoever invited you tonight. But I want to hear in the comments, out of the products that Jen talked about tonight, is there a product that's jumping out at you? She talked about the collagen, the Optimize, and the Enrich. I know for me, I can't live without that collagen. And if you are an associate, I'd also love for you to mention your favorite product and as well your favorite associate bundle so everybody can hear. All right. There was one question I jotted down for you, Jen, and that was, can you take the Trinont products together? Can you take
That's
more
an
than-
amazing question. I love
Yeah.
that question because what's really, really cool about these products is they actually all work in tandem. So what's going to happen is your results just keep getting better. Every time you add another product, your results are just going to be increase. And then all of a sudden you're going to be like, man, I feel 10 years younger. And then people will be walking up to you and telling you look 10 years younger. And I mean, what's happening on the outside of our body is a reflection of what's happening on the inside of our body. And I can tell you, I feel like I can look in the mirror. I don't even wear makeup anymore because my skin looks like it's radiating from the inside out because I have really improved the health in my body. And so that's always a confidence booster. So I'm really happy about that because I was starting to feel like I was looking real old. So, lots of wrinkles, lots of bags under my eyes. My skin was not smooth looking. It was starting to look old. And I noticed something there's a lot of girls on here, so I'm going to talk. There's a lot of women on here. I noticed, Kate, I have a lot of previous sun damage on my chest. I wish I took pictures, but unfortunately, I'm not smart like that. So all of you, we always tell you when you get started on the product, take pictures of everything because you never know it's going to be impacted. I didn't. I regret it. Don't learn the lesson from me. But my chest had kind of leathery it was starting to look a little leathery and I was a little self-conscious about it. And I have noticed a huge change in the past 4 weeks, especially. Now I've only been taking the products for just about 3 months, I think, just 3 months now. And I'm super excited. I'm going on a trip to Arizona tomorrow and I'm super excited to be in a bathing suit. So that doesn't always happen. That feeling of being excited about being in a bathing suit, I don't think I've ever experienced in my life. So I'm super excited about that. But that's it. So thank you guys for joining us. Thank you. If you're watching the recording, please get back to the person who sent you the recording. Let them know what you think. Let them know if there's a particular product that you're interested in getting more information. Let us know if you want to get your hands on it. If you are interested in having a one-on-one conversation with me about your particular situation and what products might be the best for you, I'm always open for discussion. And again, thank you for watching, and we look forward to hearing your results. So make sure you are sharing your testimonies. Ask the person who invited you to add you to a testimony group where you are going to be welcome to put your testimonies in, because we want to hear from you what is happening with you, because this is how we're going to heal the world. This is our goal. Our goal is to impact 1 billion lives in the next 30 years, and we need your help. So we need to spread the message. So make sure you're sharing what the products are doing for you so that we can find people that are just like you that need the help that you're getting.
Thank you, Jen, for all your amazing knowledge and expertise, and have so much fun in Arizona.
All right. Thanks,
Okay, good
guys.
night, everybody.
Have a great night.